Hi, welcome back to What's Your Take podcast series with Supriya. Supriya, last time we spoke about the neonatal care equipment market, and we are going to continue today the discussion. In the first part, we discussed about what all data they have gathered. They also displayed certain data pointers. Today, we are going to discuss how exactly they got this particular data, for whom did they got it or get it, how they are going to utilize that. Thank you for joining today again, Supriya. Let's start where we ended last time. Last time we talked a lot of quantitative data, how we actually got that, how you are presented into report, what feedback you received it. But today we'll try and talk about how did you get that particular data, because that's the real question. The data which these manufacturers are not being able to get it from the market. How exactly Supriya and team got it is the real question today.
So our data is mostly come from the primary interviews and the surveys, cause the neonatal preterm market is the market where the published data is not enough to get the technological advancement, what is the technological penetration, what is actually happening in the NICUs, and what is the care intensity. So for that we have to collect the data from the primaries. So our methodology is 70% primary based and 30% mostly the secondary one. So the secondary role is just for that what should we have to included in that data.
Yeah.
But what exact data is, so that's get from the primary.
So the real
game is
the primary.
yeah.
How about today we talk about that particular game? Can you elaborate it more? What exactly primary is? Because a normal person will not be able to understand it. How about we keep the research topic down, but try and explain what is primary and how exactly Supriya and team got that particular data. How did they got it?
So most of the people thought that market research is only the desk job, like we only search the data and we got the data. But to analyze one of the market, we should have go into the deep, like what is exactly happening in the NICU, what is the adoption rate for that equipment, how frequently that equipment is changed, and all that things. So for that we interviewed the both side of the this market, like supply side and demand side. So in supply side we can say that the manufacturer, the distributors who actually manufacture the equipments which are used in the NICUs, and the demand side we can say that the end users like the hospitals and the primary care centers who actually use that data. So yes, so in the supply side chain, we interviewed with the most. We interviewed with the manufacturer of the equipments from the each regions. So first we look who are the primary key players in that regions, and then we interviewed the stakeholders, like what kind of equipments you use, what penetration of the respiratory analyzers are used for that NICU, in NICU. Then how frequently the equipment is replaced, what is the replacement rate.
Supriya, when you said it was the primary research and then you broke it down and said it from the supply side as well and the demand side. So let's just start first from the supply side. Could you just explain us, or what exactly do you mean when you said the data gathered from the supply side, perhaps?
Yes, so when I talk about the supply side, it means the manufacturer, the who actually manufacture the equipments, the distributors in that the particular regions. So we did not directly ask the what is the market size there, what is your revenue, but we asked the questionnaire like how many percentage of the equipment is go to the primary hospitals and how many percentage go to the tertiary hospitals. Then we also ask them that how frequently the equipment is replaced, like what is the period between your new installation and what is the period for your the first upgrade for that equipment. Then we also ask them that in how frequently, like in which regions there is the tender tender-based procurement and not the only one-time procurement. So if I say that, last time we have discussed that in the US that is the major shift. So in US there is the tender-based procurement mostly, and in developing regions like the APAC and the Middle East and Africa, there will be the one-time procurement as well. So these type of questions give us the liberty to think about what is exactly the supply side is doing. Is they give the shipment volumes in the bulk, what is their price ranges for the bulk volumes and for the one-time procurement, and also if there is the major gap between the like shipments, like one of the company has shipped their equipment 1 year back and after 10 year also, cause the equipment is not that like they replaced every year.
True.
Yes, so we check that. So after that we got to know that what is actually happening in the supply side
So
analysis.
that's how you got the supplier's full picture.
Yes.
And like, what do you think? How many people you have to really interview to get such interesting data
Yes,
from them?
actually,
The questionnaires and all that stuff. I can understand how extensive that might be, but could you just give us certain numbers?
Yes, so 250 to 300 majorly. So for the developed regions, it was the highest number, and for the developing regions, is the low. Cause in the developing regions, we didn't get all the answers from the minor hospitals, but yes, we do the local primaries as well, cause we have tie-ups in the emerging markets as well, emerging regions as well. So from like we can say that 70% is from the developed regions from 250 to 300 interviews, and 30% is from the developing regions.
And I'm guessing right now, when you just broke it down like the supply side and the demand side, I'm guessing the demand side questionnaire would be different. So how about now we talk about the demand side?
Yes, so from demand side, obviously they are the end users like the hospitals and the clinical centers who actually use the NICUs. So we ask them about how the NICU birth rates are. Yeah, so how many actually what type of equipments you use, like for every patient it will be the different equipments. Someone will need the respiratory, someone need the ventilator, so combination is the basically different. Yes. So for that we use the different questions. Like if I say that any particular hospital has the birth rate of like 100 neonatal birth, then we ask them out of 100 how frequently you use the ventilators for that baby, and how frequently you use the respiratory all the equipments for another one. So from that we got to know about the percentage penetration rate for that equipment.
Got it.
Yes.
But then that's a usage, right?
Right.
We talk about how many times or how many iterations in a month they had to use it. But it's an infrastructure which these organizations or these clinical care or NICUs should have it.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate it?
Okay, so for that, like I have said that we also took the price range as well. Like if I say that we interviewed with the demand side as well, so we directly you ask them ki in 1 month, let's say for the 100 birth rate, actually how many times you use that ventilator equipment or that respiratory one, and we then analyze the service based charges, like service based charges. And if I say that like market size is only based upon the equipment's prices, right?
True.
So the usage penetration rate is mostly for the qualitative one as well, but the real game for the market size is the price range of that equipment and how frequently it is changed and what is the replacement cycle. And there will be, that's why we also segregate the market size into the new installation as well as the replacement one.
True.
Yeah.
True. And also the service provider, who are
Service
the
provider.
intermediary people who are currently providing those services, right?
Yes.
Great. So that was very comprehensive. While you were trying to understand from the demand side, you didn't do only a section of audience, but you tried to make sure all these parameters are studied, because otherwise the data would be haywire.
Right.
So that's superb to know that. Again, thanks for explaining the demand side as well as the supply side interviews you must have taken. But all these interviews are basically a questionnaire based, or which might have an answer in a structured format or unstructured format. But then again, I'm a little confused. Like when these answers are gathered, it becomes a huge database. But how do you go or drill down to that particular number? Because when I saw the reports, the structure of the report was very constructive. There you could understand the market sizing of each of those years, also the forecasting. also the each of the years for global, those 6 regions, and the top performing countries, even for the US and certain European and Asia Pacific countries. So could you just help us understand how do you derive those numbers from that questionnaires, or which could be structured or unstructured data?
Yes. So basically, what is revenue? Revenue comes from the volume and the price of that equipment. So when we interviewed, we first check, is there any gap between the supply side and demand side? Like if we interviewed some supply side manufacturer and they said we have shipped this much of the volume, but from demand side, if we get to know that no, there is a gap between what the supply side has said, like there is no as such procurement from the supply side, then we revalidate that data. Like we re-interviewed that with supply side manufacturer as well and the demand side hospitals head as well. So when we get to know that yes, there is a no gap now, the shipment volume and the procurement data is finally aligned, then we just go to get to the the volume into the price of that equipment, and boom, that goes to into the revenue of the market size. And for the this is the global, not like for this is top down, but when I talk about the bottom up, for each regions we do this the same, like the from interviews, then we just collate about the regional revenue, and it will go into the global one.
Now, what if you find a gap between the supply and demand? Then what will you do, because that interview round has finished? Okay.
Yes, but there is no only one interview round.
Okay.
We do the interviews multiple time until we get to know that yes, our data is aligned. Like yes, the supply side has said is exact equal to the demand side. I can't say that there is 100% the right accuracy, but yes, we get the 90% accuracy. For that we have to interview the people again and again and again.
Oh, so it's not one iteration and
No.
you got the data. There are multiple iterations. It could be the similar round of similar people are getting interviewed twice, or it could be a different set of people you are interviewing in order to find that particular gap and fill it up. So it is not an interview process one time done. It is a continuous process. And tomorrow as well, if there are any changes, you're ready to go in the market and interview those people to find those real data. So that's how you stay
Yes,
updated.
that's how we actually work. That's
Okay.
how, yes. So as I have said already, we are not doing that's why the desk research. We actually have to go into that deeper level for this type of market. There is no ready available data. So for that, just like you have said that if any technological development is happened, we have to re-interview the same stakeholders, or we have to interview the different stakeholders as well. So yes.
No, but when I was trying to understand this, I also wanted to address a white elephant in this particular room, the AI. So when you just exactly and very precisely you told me the way you interview, you even structured it. You also structured it into iterations of those interviews. I do not think the AI will be able to do it. I heavily heard, or multiple times I heard from your side saying that we do not rely on the text data. So
Right.
basically AI is
Yeah.
that only. So when you are getting that particular data, your data is more accurate because you interviewed these people, and these people are not only the end users, you also interviewed the supply side. I think that's why this data set is purified, because when a client for whom we were conducting this particular study gave us a reply or gave us a feedback about it, the reviews were really good. They were heavily relying earlier on the desktop or a data which is publicly available, and that's where the issue was, because it's all about data. And if that data is misleading, if that data is not having a sanity, then everything is gonna go really haywire. And thanks for explaining this research methodology, because of which I could understand why AI can't do what cognitives Supriya can. So thanks for that. So also Supriya, let's just for a moment let's drill down further into AI versus Supriya, or AI versus researchers. I also want or encourage you to explain why you're very evidently saying AI can't do what Supriya and team can do. So could you just explain that further?
Yes. So I want to ask this question to the public as well. Like, can AI do the things? Like, can AI deliver the things that is not published on the website? If yes, then the technology is really developed. But no, AI can't do AI can't give that data which is not published yet. So AI can't go into the hospitals and ask the doctors and nurses how much ventilators you have used for that baby, how frequently you replace that equipment. So for that we have to interview that, like we researchers have to get into the market survey, like we have to ask the questions to the real peoples who actually been into use that of that equipment. So yes, AI can't do that.
Yeah, very well said. AI will not be able to take an interview, and neither that nurse who used that particular equipment last month for, let's just say, X number of babies, is not going to publish that data in the public domain either which way. So that's where the gap is, I believe, and one cannot rely on AI's data, and that's why we get lot many inquiries and lot many questions where people try and understand why the data your team has gathered is not from AI, and I believe just by showing them the questionnaires itself, they can understand it. I feel we do not even have to create a use case for them to understand whether AI can take an interview, because that's no longer a question here. The real question is what data they are seeing in an AI. Can they themselves accept it? Can they themselves validate it? And if not, then what you just said is again true.
Yes, cause if I said that if new equipment is launched, if new drug is launched for that neonatal treater, how can AI can generate the data for that new launch? If any equipment is in the pipeline or any drug is in the pipeline, how can they say the functions or what is the advantages of that drug or that equipment? So we have to include that first. And if we publish that data on the website, then only AI can give the information about that.
Very well said. That means AI is going to again rely on Supriya's data.
Yes.
So when you're going to publish your report in the public domain, it's going to pull the data from there and do the magic again. But then, as rightly said, those pipeline products and the projection which the market or the usage of those products are going to change, AI can't predict it, because you can, because you know the features of those, because when you spoke with those suppliers, you got to know what kind of products they are coming into market. Why are they coming into the market? What was the gap they found it? And it's a continuous collaboration, and that's why I feel the manufacturers of these machines also speak with you people, try and understand. And it's not always to understand the market sizing. And very well said from your side in the beginning. You said I'm not only providing the quantitative data, but I'm also telling them the qualitative insights. And lot many times these qualitative insights, just because we categorize them called qualitative, we don't go to the length to understand what kind of insights do you guys provide it. So how about we take an example of pipeline products and how that's going to change this particular market. Can you just tell a qualitative insight which you must have found it in this particular report, which people can understand and make it tangible, why the forecasting is not only about number but also about the insight which these manufacturers are really looking to understand in a better manner, and that's why they hire the researchers like you.
Right. So if I'm talking about the pipeline products, so let's say the pipeline products is in the clinical trials. So we have to check if that equipment or that drug has the ability to go beyond the equipment that is actually used right now. So if yes, then it will be the launch for the another decade. But if not, then they have to remodulate their equipment as well. They have to develop their technology as well. So for this type of study, we actually need qualitative, because there is no use of quantitative data for that. We just have to check how many people they have do the clinical trials, and how much people say that yes, this is useful. How many doctors say that yes, from this equipment it has saved my time, or it has saved the life of one of the baby. Then it will be the next generation equipment.
True.
Yes.
So, and that also gives the real definition to this market research which you have done it. It is not only for manufacturers to grow bigger or grab more pie of that particular market share, but it's also for them to perfect their product further. Perfect and find more and more use cases to save lives, and that's the purpose these companies are producing these products, not only to grab more revenues but to save lives. And that's why this shift of neonatal care market or neonatal care equipments market had changed and showing a lot of growth on a government level, on country level, the developing nations versus developed nations as well. This entire productive insights which you told today give us a larger picture about the neonatal care equipment market, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for having me.